Alright, guys. Well, in this episode, we're going to do whatever we have the chance to do. I don't think that I'm going to go full scale attack on this event. Kakashi Kamui. Well, we have a lot of copies for Kakashi right now, so we're just gonna wait a little bit. We're gonna send him, but not today. Pretty much, of course. I'm actually waiting for another events to happen. Most probably, we're gonna see uh, traveling to Sunagakure, and we have a lot of materials for it. So most probably I'm gonna save my stuff for it. I'm just gonna spend a little bit faction scrolls today, just enough to get a little bit more task here, but I'm not gonna spend a lot. So other things we might, for example, start. Let's say equaling or maybe doing I'm just not sure yet. I might, for example, go for 15 stars, but let's see.
What do you want? This morning I was Googling myself, and my personal information is all over the internet. We've clearly got a security leak. You're the only one who knows all this stuff, so you must have spilled the beans. What makes you think I'm a security leak? Well, I already wanted to be this, but they didn't seem to like it.
crews trying to protect the site. They didn't want
Snitches get stitches.
fine.
Rules of the street, rules of the sea.
Anyway, they studied the image for weeks and were stumped. Finally, they decided to go public. The image went viral and landed in every newspaper and every broadcast in the world.
Buckle up, Star Wars nerds. You're gonna like this one.
Underneath it described as the wreckage of a crashed spaceship hanging low bonfire called Dale.
Първоначално мисля да им сложа бутала, булички в тези картоните супермаркет, ще са много леки, ще ги плъснат. Даваш ли те да използвам за булички? Се разрежда.
Kaj sem mislil, da piješ od tega?
The genie was out of the bottle. There was no going back. Now everyone on Earth knew something mysterious was happening at the bottom of the Baltic. The hope was all that media coverage would help finance a return expedition to the site. If they could get back there, they'd dive to the object. They'd map the entire area in 3D. So the team started pitching investors and sponsors. Sponsors wanted to know, is this an alien craft? We don't know. Is it a natural formation? We don't know. Maybe it's proof of the lost city of Atlantis. Well, it's not Atlantis.
No, why not?
Well, because in 1968, Atlantis was already found. Atlantis was made famous by Plato, who described the island nation in his works Timaeus and Critias. Plato described Atlantis as a powerful island nation with advanced technology. Then there was a cataclysm. Volcanoes, tsunamis, and a global flood destroyed Atlantis. It's been lying at the bottom of the ocean somewhere ever since. Officially, the story of Atlantis is considered an allegory. Plato's warning about the hubris of powerful nations. However, many people believe that Atlantis was a real place. Plato said he heard a story from his grandfather, who had heard of the Athenian statesman Solon. Solon learned of Atlantis when the Jews were placed. Atlantis was destroyed 9,000 years before. The timeline lines up nicely with the global flood at the end of the Younger Dryas about 30,000 years ago. During the later cases, he confirmed that Atlantis was a real place. He said it was a large island nation of lives. Where they lived in beautiful places to be found here. Sadly, this Atlantis will be found in the earth. You can see the Bahamas not depicted as a bunch of small islands. It's shown as a single large island and running right through the middle, something that looks just like Bimini Road. Bimini Road has spawned all kinds of theories, especially since it's connected to an Edgar Casey prediction that came true. Some say this was Atlantis, and Bimini Road is a remnant of the city's ancient harbor. This also shows that Atlanteans had advanced construction technology, just like Plato said. Other psychics say Bimini Road emits an unusual energy that produces visions and healing powers. I can't confirm that, but Edgar Casey did. Ufologists think Bimini Road might have been a landing zone for spacecraft, or possibly a portal to a different dimension. This portal, they say, still opens and closes on a regular basis. In 1997, deep sea engineer Joseph Mason was diving Bimini when he saw a large square door open on the side of a stone block. The door led to an underground passage, but his compass started failing, and the corridor disappeared. There have been strange electromagnetic readings above Bimini, sometimes causing instruments to go crazy. Is this evidence of worlds, or maybe something else? Remember, Bimini Road is in the Bermuda Triangle. In the 1970s, divers claimed to have seen more stones lying into more roads, but those structures have since vanished. There's still no consensus about what Bimini Road is. If it's a natural formation, it's unlike anything ever discovered. But while skeptics and believers debated Bimini Road, the Ocean X team was out raising money, trying to finance another trip to the Bermuda. Here, but they raised money. Now it's time to go back. Created a lot of interest in the Baltic Sea anomaly, but it was in international waters, which means anybody can take a shot at it. They had to be careful and avoid being tracked. I got it. After ducking a Navy ship, they dropped the fish in the water. This is side-scanning sonar. It paints a two-dimensional image of the ocean floor. They also use a multi-beam echo sounder. This emits sound waves that create a three-dimensional image of sea level. Still, they decide to dive. After descending 300 feet down, they arrive at the object. It feels like concrete. They touch it and the material turns black. They want to get in a few more dives, but are out of time and money. Diving 300 feet means you need to take about 90 minutes to return to the surface. You have to ascend slowly to give your body time to readjust to the pressure. Return to the surface too fast, and you can rupture a lung or worse. They have to turn back, and they have another problem. Their 3D scan is incomplete, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Oh no.
But they brought hammers and chisels on their dive. They managed to chip off pieces of the object. So they return to port and send the samples to a lab, hoping someone can tell them, what the hell is this thing? When Christopher Columbus sailed across the Atlantic in search of a new route to India, he found something else. And it wasn't the New World. Well, he did find that, but he found this object. There are reports of the same Ferris wheel type craft that span 200 years. Whatever objects are in our oceans, they've been here for a very, very long time. Since the early 1900s, professional sailors.
Steven.
Yes.
Say.
No.
Yeah.
Since the early 1900s, professional sailors and Navy men have seen lights in the water, and in some cases, craft emerged from the ocean. All 10 years connected undersea tips and operations in America. This is a highly secret Navy base located within the Bermuda Triangle. It opened in 1967 and is a remote location in the Bahamas near the Caribbean water. But also, they test all kinds of weapons, including advanced weapons. It's been called the Navy's Area 51. Flying through the clouds or into water and still disrupted. The only thing that makes sense to me, which makes no sense at all, is that UAPs are somehow interdimensional.
I don't know what that is. That is some weird.
So they exist in our universe, but they can pass through solid objects as if their physical matter is out of phase with ours. But we do, allegedly, have recovered craft. These are objects we can touch. So maybe this phase shift only happens when the engines are running. Or maybe anti-gravity technology makes a craft impervious to air and water friction. I really don't know. But there are more and more videos out there of UFOs shooting into and out of the water without disturbing a drop. This is clearly an important piece of new technology.
And what we are witnessing is a true transmutal view. The vehicle will penetrate that barrier between air and sea or air and space without disruption. We're looking at a propulsion system that is so far advanced beyond next generation technology. But we're probably looking at what it is theoretically we're looking at is a gravitational propulsion system, non-reactionary propulsion system.
In the late 1980s, Gulf Breeze, Florida, not far from the secret Navy facility, made global headlines. Local resident Ed Walters photographed a glowing acorn-shaped craft hovering above his neighborhood. His images triggered a wave of UFO sightings in the area, with hundreds of witnesses reporting similar encounters. Skeptics accused Walters of hoaxing the photos by a double exposure. Analysis shows no signs of inflation, made obvious unidentified objects. Walters' photos are some of the most compelling I've ever seen. Cuban ufologist Maximilian de Lafayette is a leading proponent of the undersea alien tunnels theory. He gets his information from sources in the military and NASA. He claims there's a vast network of tunnels beneath the seabed. UAPs use these to move quickly from one part of the Earth to the other. Within this tunnel network are hubs which contain large basins, 12 bases to be exact, and they're all over the world. South America, Russia, Japan, and there are bases in places to be expect. even be older, though he says there's an internal debate on this.
So what the hell is it?
Well, the base is a huge construction facility used to develop and deploy UFOs. They're here for research and resources. The military believes the base is operated by some kind of AI, not necessarily a sentient being or perfect beings. The aliens or whoever's in charge of the base, they don't really care about humans. The only time they'll get involved is if we start messing around with nuclear weapons. And we've seen UFOs appear on film of nuclear tests in the past. There's even that story of something shutting down a U.S. nuclear missile facility. Here's how the base works. It decides it wants to survey some area of the Earth. Then, using raw materials within the base, a craft is constructed specifically for that purpose. The craft is built around whatever equipment is needed. If the base is going on a survey mission, it creates the necessary scanning gear, and a package is then wrapped in a vehicle. The vehicle is deployed from the ocean. It goes on its mission and gathers data.
Ne?
The craft returns to the base, and the whole thing is run.
Da. Power sources, different technologies that we've reverse engineered, lots of stuff. A lot of what he says is corroborated by other whistleblowers like Bob Lazar and even David Bruch. And it could all be a hoax, but hoax or not, it's a really fun read. And speaking of hoaxes, we have to finish our story about the Baltic Sea anomaly.
Oh no.
Peter and Dennis from Ocean X brought up samples of the Baltic Sea anomaly in the lab. It was stopped. The lab was detected samples out in the ocean. A lot of this found to be organic, which is strange. There isn't organic activity here. Appearing to samples from UFOs, underground structure, maybe tentacle work. There are features of the anomaly that can look man-made or unnatural, but the ones that look more looks like the more than a weird rock. On the internet, there are lots of fun photos and images, and even video from the Baltic Sea anomaly. But I recommend the actual image is the first sonar picture on land. Sonar is fun, but the image is Sing calls this track 2.
Finally, the edges of the image, just beyond the circular formation, are gray, meaning the sonar couldn't tell what was there. That shows the sonar isn't calibrated well enough to trust. That's strike 3.
The Ocean X team has been attacked and accused of hoaxing the whole thing. It was suspicious that when they went back the following year, they had equipment failure. Remember, they lost their sonar, and their 3D imaging was incomplete. Skeptics say this is too convenient, and people started calling it a scam. Now, Peter and Dennis spent a lot of time trying to raise money to go back, but they couldn't find the support. They blame the media for this.
I agree. Blame the media.
You don't even know what the media did.
Let me guess. They jumped to conclusions without checking it fast.
Okay, so you do know what the media did.
Not my first rodeo, Chief.
After it was discovered that there was no battle, the media went hard on the Ocean X team. whole thing. He was tired of being called a non-beat. In defense of the Times, it did go back to the site a few years ago with an ROV, and there's more footage of it. They claim they found possible writing or hieroglyphics on the side of one of the stones, and it could be. It's too hard to tell. As of 2020, experts believe the Baltic anomaly is a piece of volcanic rock that was pushed in place by a glacier. That's why there's a channel behind it. Now, everyone admits it does look strange. It doesn't look natural. In that way.
In a perfect line, half a mile long.
Oh, that's the mainstream.
Ah, the mainstream is bullish.
Watch your mouth. But you're right. The mainstream is often wrong. The Bimini Road looks man-made to me. Unfortunately, there's no way to date the rock, so we don't know how long it's been down there. Whether it's connected to Atlantis or not, nobody knows. There are no other objects or structures in the area, at least none confirmed. Now, there is something to see on the coast of the island that may be thousands of years old. And this is not a fuzzy, creepy boat, but hopefully they're able to get on with the civilization. Maybe it's some evidence of all this expedition.
I love speculation.
I know you do. The last thing we covered on our bases in the USO. Now we can and should be skeptical about posts on 4chan and Reddit. They make good reading, but that's not evidence. When claims statements posting objects going in and out of the water, now also include UFOs flying over and in the ocean. And there's a lot of physical evidence of actual underwater visits, which is each one of the representative These underwater scenes can be island off the coast of California. It's been noted that was one of the Navy's top oceanography experts. Since the scene is well investigated, notice that not allowed to visit any of it. The admiral saw the image and says it's a natural explanation. It could be interesting to underwater underground base. UFO hotspot for years. That's where the USS Nimitz was in 2004, when a pilot chased the UFO for miles. We've all seen this footage. The admiral says there's a lack of scientific curiosity from the military when it comes to UFOs. And he's right. Congress just passed a defense bill that includes language that gives the American people full transparency and access to the government's information on UFOs. Now, you already knew this. The news called it the UAP Disclosure Bill. But did you know that the Pentagon stripped all the language regarding disclosure from the bill? Now, as always, they can remove anything regarding UFOs if the information is considered a matter of national security.
So it could be anything.
Anything. The Department of Defense can hide, cover up, redact, classify, or even destroy any evidence of UFOs they want, anytime they want.
No.
Yeah. Tim Burchett, a Republican congressman from Tennessee, wrote the disclosure amendment. He said, and I quote, "We got ripped off. We got completely hosed. They stripped out every part." Burchett's a Republican, so it was Democrats that hosed us, right? Nope, it was Republicans. Oh, so Republicans are not right. Nope, our Democrat Senate and Democrat President signed it.
Uniparty.
Uniparty. People ask me all the time about disclosure. Are we close? Are they finally going to tell us? And they hate it when I tell them, no, they're not. Congressman Burchett and Admiral Gallaudet are right. The Pentagon, the military intelligence complex, the shadow government, whatever you want to call it, they're not not curious about UFOs. You're not curious about what they are. You're not curious about why they're here. You're curious about the reason for curiosity is clear. Why be curious about something? Check out our Discord. There are thousands of people on there 24/7, sometimes longer, and they're into the same weird stuff we are. It's a great community, it's a lot of fun, and it's free to join. Now, if you want to know what's going on with the channel, go to dwifiles.com/cal. That's our production calendar. There you'll see our podcasts, our live streams, and what episodes are coming your way. And special thanks to our patron who make it all possible. Every episode of the Live Files is dedicated to our Patreon members. Without you guys, there would be no channel, and all the service support that I bring. Now, if you'd like to support the channel, become a member of our Patreon. For as little as $3 a month, get access to first like videos early, commercials, get access to first only available to members, plus you get 2 private live shows every week just for you. My camera's on, your camera's on, we can see each other's faces. We're about to hold storm together, mano a mano, official. Until next time you see me. I look like you and both paranormal music. Some things like I should. Maybe see theory becomes the truth, my friends, and it never ends. I know it never I feel the crap out and I got stuck inside man's home with that chaotic trust of being only too aware. Stanley Kubrick faced the moon landing alone on a film set with the shadows people there. Just focus on the man, don't forget to stay cold.